witnesses' testimony. Shall we start with the chairman of the committee, Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Chairman, Ranking Member. It's great to be with you all this morning on this topic. Today, digital assets are a rapidly growing market with over 50 million of our fellow citizens invested in some manner of cryptocurrency. Jobs in the digital asset economy expanded by 118% year over year, and the Bitcoin mining industry alone has generated 31,000 jobs. There is clearly an opportunity and interest in encouraging further growth and innovation in this space. Ms. Mersinger, how does the current tax treatment of digital assets affect the industry and its customers, and how might more tax certainty encourage growth and investment in the crypto economy?
Thank you for that question, Chairman. The current tax treatment of digital assets is complex, it's burdensome, and it's costly. And for every dollar that is spent on complying with the tax code, that's one less dollar that is injected back into the business, back into innovation. And the tax code should never be a barrier to innovation. We need to modernize the tax code so we can level the playing field for digital assets, reduce these unnecessary burdens, and unlock the innovation and growth of the industry here in the United States.
Thank you. President Trump has said he wants to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. Unfortunately, right now, we risk losing the race for innovation and global leadership on this front to other nations. Ms. Mangiero, are there any lessons that we can learn from other nations that are seeking to secure a more competitive advantage, or perhaps things to avoid? And what will being the crypto capital of the world mean for American businesses, workers, and our broader economy?
Well, thanks for the question, Chairman. I think one thing we should think about is in the early days of the internet, we couldn't imagine all of the various use cases there would be, things like e-commerce, cloud computing, social media, and the associated jobs that would be created, the companies that were built right here in the US. And we created the policy framework, both on the tax and the regulatory side, that enabled those businesses to flourish here in the US. What happened was the rest of the world saw that. They saw that we were the global leader in Web 2, and now they're all competing to be the jurisdiction of choice for crypto and Web 3. So the EU has already established a framework. The UK, which was taking a phased approach, is now, as of January of this year, announced that they are going to do all of their frameworks this year. And Japan, especially, is now enacting tax reforms to make them more competitive on the tax side. What I don't want to see happen here is something like chips, where we used to dominate, we didn't have the right framework, that business left, and now we're spending billions of dollars to lure it back. So I think that's the lesson to be taken away here.
Agreed. Why we're doing this hearing. Congress can help contribute to a healthy digital asset marketplace by ensuring that the laws and regulations are not overly burdensome for businesses, consumers, and taxpayers. For example, earlier this year, Congress, led by this committee, approved a resolution signed into law by President Trump that overturned a Biden administration rule seeking to regulate decentralized finance, or DeFi brokers, by imposing unworkable reporting requirements on taxpayers and small businesses, threatening to cripple the digital asset industry in the process. Mr. Soman Sato, I would prefer to call you Jason because it's such a great name. But aside from a need for more structure and certainty within the tax code, what are other regulatory hurdles or potential speed bumps that you see that exist today or could exist in the future that deserves this committee's attention?
Thanks for the question. I think, as I highlighted in my testimony, probably the primary hurdle for individual users, which is where we focus our attention at Coin Center, is on the taxation of very small transactions that are inherent in these networks. And so, as a kind of first order, we have long promoted the idea of a de minimis exception. I think on the regulatory front, your reference to the broker rule brings up an issue that has been at the heart of the regulatory discussion for quite some time, which is how do you differentiate between trusted institutions that play typical business roles in this community, which should have obligations, for example, on tax reporting, and identifying where we run into developers just creating software that anybody could use, and ensuring that we're not placing tax obligations on those developers. And that's kind of an important element of some of the bills that are going through on the regulatory side right now.
Thank you. I'm reminded of words that President Reagan gave when he was talking about just the functions of government. And I think it resonates today with this industry, this hearing. But Reagan always viewed that government would tax anything that's moving. And if it continued to move, they would regulate it. And if it stopped moving, they would then subsidize it. We need to learn from those mistakes and make sure we create an industry that thrives. And that's what we're looking to do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.